Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I had a subscriber ask a question in another video I did, and he basically said, look, does this apply to guys who are happy with their size or not trying to gain any muscle? So let me put on my +5 out of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and yeah, let's talk about that. Okay, this was in my video that I did yesterday talking about guys who've been training for years who still can't squat 315 pounds. Yeah, it still applies to them. But the answer is the same. They don't have a structured program in which they're working towards long-term and short-term goals that change something. It's still the same thing. They might still have fuck-arounditis, but that's okay because what their goals are allow them to have fuck-arounditis. Meaning if your goal is not to change anything, then why do you need a structured program geared towards change? You don't, but they still don't have a structured program geared towards change. It's just that they're aware of that and they accept that because they're just in the gym to maintain. And that's a whole nother demographic that nobody really talks about on YouTube or anywhere else. Everyone's always gains. Oh, you got to do whatever it takes to reach your goals. 5%ers, get big or die trying, blah, 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 blah. You know what? There's a lot of people out there who are pretty happy with their size. I'm pretty happy with my size at this point. You know what? If I never gained another pound of muscle the rest of my fucking life, I wouldn't care. All right, I'm pretty big. I'm big enough by my standards. I'm big enough that most people I meet can obviously tell I lift. You guys see me deadlift 500 pounds beltless for 7 reps. You guys have seen me crank out like 30 dips with my body weight all the way down. I'm decently strong. Not the strongest in the world, not the biggest in the world, but I'm 40 years old. I don't give a fuck about getting bigger. And there's a lot of guys out there with that same attitude, but no one talks about that. No one talks about the fact that there's a lot of people who aren't obsessed with gains. What about those people? That's an enormous demographic in the gym. A lot of people are in the gym, they're happy with their size. Whether they're small or big is really irrelevant now, isn't it? There are lots of guys who don't want to be over 160 at 14-15% body fat. That's fit, that's healthy, they're in their healthy normal body fat range. They've got a little bit of muscle, a little bit of strength, they're probably athletic and fit, and they're happy with that. And I would ask people, what's wrong with that? Name one thing wrong with that. They're happy where they're at, they've made a little progress, they're healthy, they're fit, they exercise. Anyone who knocks that and has a problem with anyone who has that attitude has a major insecurity problem. They need to step back and address what's going on with themselves if they have an issue with that, because I don't. Or what if it's a guy who's 220 or 240 or whatever? He's happy with his size. If he doesn't want to make gains anymore, how is this not an important fitness component? Because isn't that the whole point? Everyone talks about they have this goal, they have that goal, they want to get here, they want to get there. Well, what happens when you reach it? Not everyone has the desire to change their goal 7 or 8 or 15 fucking times. Some people come into the gym training with an idea of where they want to be, and then they get there. They reach their goal. Not everyone develops a body image disorder that requires them to keep making more gains and claim they're never going to go on drugs and then go on drugs and then claim they're never going to use over a gram and then they use 2 grams and then they add growth hormone. Not everyone does this, guys. Some people go in with a set goal and they're happy with where they get, or they've been training a long time and they look and say, I've got all the muscle I want. I don't care about gaining anymore. I'm happy. Those people are better off than the people chasing the gains because they're happy with their goals. They're happy with what they've achieved. I would say for those people, maintenance is actually the easiest thing in the world. Come in and do what you want to do in the gym. And that's the thing. You might gain muscle accidentally. That's the funny part. When you're where you want to be and you come in and you train a little bit hard, you'll probably accidentally gain more muscle here and there. But that's okay because you just happen to have gained it without really trying. But it is important to put in some intensity, some workload to maintain where you're at. And in fact, what that allows people to do is focus on other performance elements that matter more to them. Because, that's the thing. Once you've obtained the size that you want, other people, instead of chasing a new goal of more size, maybe they get a new goal of, hey, I just want to get better at this exercise. Hey, I want to get better at my golf game. And so they start implementing various exercises and training and sport-specific things towards some other goal that they want. Something else that they want in life besides just chasing muscle. because a lot of people who are active and fit and exercise find other endeavors to get involved with. Some guys um, go into golf. Some guys go into trap and skeet or three-gun comp. Other people get into tennis or marathon running or whatever it happens to be. They find some other endeavor that they want to do in a social environment or a competitive environment, and they do it. Or it could be a solo endeavor, something that they do for fun that requires activity, and maybe they add in training protocols to help them with the other things that matter to them, sport-specific stuff. Maybe they want more endurance. Um, but you know what? The same thing can be said of someone who's chasing endurance. Maybe someone who wants to be a marathon runner, once they get to a point where they can run a full marathon, they don't care about adding endurance anymore either. That's no different than the person who says, hey, I'm happy with my muscle mass. So people who are happy with their muscle mass, you know what? I would say come in and do whatever fuck around-itis you want. Come in and do what you want in the gym. I would say maintain your basic lifts. If you want to keep the size you're at, you need to take all your basic lifts and whatever your 5 to 8 rep max is, you probably need to get within a rep of that about once every week. Would probably be a good idea. You know, if you could squat 275 for 8 reps, you probably want to come in and squat 275 for 6 or 7 reps about once a week. Your bench press, you know, if you bench 200 pounds for 5 is your 5 rep max, you probably want to come in and, you know, do 190 for 5 or 6 reps about once a week. Could you do more? Sure. Sure, you could do more, as long as you don't mind eventually maybe growing accidentally a little off of it, because that's the thing that people got to factor in who are happy with their size. If you absolutely don't want to grow, you need to come in and maintain about 1 RPE 9 set per week, about 1 a week on an exercise, and don't do any more than that. You start doing multiple sets, you start doing 6 different exercises for a body part, you're going to start growing eventually. So if your goal is to absolutely not gain any more because you don't want to, you really need to minimize that. For people who are happy with where they are and they don't care, but they don't mind if they gain a little more muscle, they're not concerned about it, come in and do what you want. But again, just maintain the other stuff that I said. Do at least that. But if you want to do extra stuff, you want to come in and do some fluff, because maybe you just enjoy doing curls. Maybe you just enjoy doing the deadlift. Come in and do whatever sort of training and programming that you want, because you no longer have specific short-term and long-term goals other than to maintain. All you need to do is maintain enough tension and metabolic fatigue to hold on to where you are. And all the rest of it is just fun for you, because there's nothing wrong with doing some extra activity. It's good for you. It's good for you to come in. If you're doing the bare minimum to maintain where you are, come in and do some fluff. Do some fluff. Do some extra odd random exercises here and there just for fun without a structured program. You can do that just because you enjoy training, you enjoy exercising, and just, you know, don't push yourself too hard unless you want to start gaining again. Because eventually you will if you push yourself hard. But you know what? Some guys come in and say, well, I just really enjoy the burn of a curl. Well, come in and do your 3 or 4 sets of curls. Hell, take them to failure. Because you probably won't get upset if you gain a 1/4 inch on your bicep over the next year. It's just not your goal anymore. But that's the beauty of having reached your goal when you don't really have others, is that you can come in and maintain. You can come in and experiment. You can come in and just do the things that you enjoy doing for fun. And you know what? A little extra variety just to maintain strength balance around different joints probably isn't a bad thing. And again, I know this is an attitude that a lot of people are like, wow, I can't believe Jason is saying this, because he's normally all about structured programming. But guys, structured programming is for people who have very specific short-term and long-term goals. They know exactly what they want, and you write a program to achieve specific goals, working in either specific or at least loose time frames. That's the whole point of it. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. But a lot of people out there have reached their goals. They've reached their goals. And that's the fascinating thing for people who don't exercise. I've seen comedians joke about that, you know, who are like, I want to go join a gym, and then they see the person who's in there who never misses the gym, and they're like, why is this person in there all the time? They've already achieved it. They're fit, they're healthy, they look better than the rest of us, they're healthier than the rest of us. So you've already achieved your goal. What are you doing? And they joke about it a little bit. And the average person out there gets that. It's the exercise obsessed person who doesn't get that. And like I said, it's okay to come in and train a lot just for your overall fitness. But it is also important for people to remember that if you have goals that you set and they're realistically achievable goals, you're probably going to reach them one day. And you know what? That should be your thing. That's a healthy approach to training. It's a very healthy approach to training to set a set of goals and say, okay, when I reach those goals, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit pushing harder because I've gotten what I want. I've gotten what I want. And all of you should be striving towards that. You should hopefully be setting achievable goals that when you get to those goals one day, you're where you want to be. In which case, then you can just maintain and go in and have fun. A lot of people are going to set other goals, but eventually you will reach a point where you've achieved all that you really think is realistically achievable that you wanted to achieve in the gym. Size-wise, strength-wise, whatever. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Just come in and maintain it and have fun when that happens. And again, very foreign concept to a lot of the younger guys who are just starting out to this because they can't even envision such a thing. And that's sad that they can't envision that because that means that they're setting out on a journey that they anticipate that will never satisfy them, which basically is going to make it a futile effort. Like, why would you want to set yourself on a journey and a set of goals without expecting to actually achieve your goals one day? Just throwing that out there. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.